So, why do we hype up the Power Rangers like they're the greatest thing ever? Because to me, the Power Rangers were part of my childhood, but like on that cuff that they weren't part of my childhood, but like it became the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by the time I got into it, so it just became iffy. And while I know a lot of people talk about the original, Zach, Trini, Kimberly, Billy, and and Jason. Was it Jason or was it Rocky? No, it was Jason. And Jason, and then Tommy came in, and I really just give no fucks about Tommy, so we can just eliminate that. So, but yeah, so the original five members of the Power Rangers. But I ended up growing up on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But the thing was, the only reason why I was truly there for like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for like three reasons, maybe two, three. Number one, I had a crush on Aisha. Like Aisha, when they first brought Aisha on, I think my heart skipped 20 beats. Like she was like the finest thing ever. Like she was the African queen goddess of music, sound, and ability to go and flip it real good for the whole team. Like she could backflip and front flip. And then split, and then roundhouse kick, and then flip, and then hand back spring, front back spring, hand back spring, and then and like give Lord Zed the hands. So like that was my crush, my bae. And then also secretly there was that crush, that awkward crush that I didn't understand what that was on Jason and Billy, but like that's going to be another video to explain how crazy that was. But yeah, for those three reasons. After that, I didn't really care about the Power Rangers as much. But for was the Big Bad Beetleborgs. And what was the Big Bad Beetleborgs?
Typical average kids inside a haunted mansion. Just by chance, read a ghost who made them Beetleborgs. Big Bad Beetleborgs.
For all of you people who don't know, it was three average kids who went to the comic book store, and then they decided that they loved comics, and then they went to this weird haunted house, and then they met a bunch of monsters, and then they made a wish that they wished that their comic book came to life and that they were the Beetleborgs, and then all hell broke loose. And then that was cool because then it turned into a season of Big Bad Beetleborgs Metallic, and then they had that common rider looking motherfucker try to ride in on my boy, and then he tried to ride in on his girl. But that's beside the point. The point is that show was lit. It had three kids, and they had more drama and more believable acting than I actually saw in like Power Rangers. But like the one thing that always pissed me off, the one thing even as a kid, actually two things. The first thing was this: they never finished Big Bad Beetleborgs. Like they hyped this up for a third season. Like if you ever watched the end, there was a lot of questions that never got answered. Who was the new villain coming in? What happened with the Shadow Beetleborg? Or what were the new powers the kids were going to get? There was a lot of stuff that happened, and everyone was just like, "Oh my God, we're going to get a third season." And no, it never happened because Power Rangers took over every damn thing. So that was and then there was an episode that came a few years down the line that was called Forever Red. And if you don't know what Forever Red was, it was during the time of not Mighty Morphin. What the freak am I talking about? It came at the time of Power Rangers, Jungle. It was just one of the little jungle. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to. What we are going to talk about is this event. So in Power Rangers Forever Red, pretty much Cole, the Red Ranger at the time, is met up with Tommy and Jason and Rocky and all the other Red Rangers that came before him, because they have to fight some evil space villains that have come from outer space to like wreck their shit. You with me? So during this episode, what happened was they fought the enemy, but the enemy turned out to be, get this, the Beetleborgs. Like, let me just hit a pause button for just 2 moments. The Beetleborgs, that were my childhood icons. The one things that I wanted to be before I wanted to become a supervillain. Those 3 kids were my childhood. Those suits were part of me. Like I loved them so much. I got the toys. I got the VHSs at the time because we didn't have DVDs, and I know it's slowly coming out, but like ain't nobody got no money for that. But like I also got the little side video games and stuff, and like I was a big supporter. Like I wanted to be the Blue Ranger so I could have the power to move stuff in my mind. Like that was my thing. And the black guy, although they gave him the power to run really fast, which I really have a lot of questions behind that, but still, like that was my thing. So sit there and imagine a shorter Zwei. I don't know where my hands are. A shorter Zwei, pretty much watching Saturday morning cartoons, eating crunch berries in his pajamas because it's Saturday and I have nothing else to do. And he's sitting there watching this, and he's like, "Oh, there's the Power Rangers. Oh, there's Big Bad. Oh no, no. Why are the Power Rangers beating up the Beetleborgs? What is going on?" You don't understand that after that, I was damaged for life against the Power Rangers. I hated the Power Rangers afterwards. Like nothing could tell me otherwise. Like my uncles and them, they were more in tuned into like the background of the show because they understood that none of this was real. And so they did their history and they did some digging and found out that they were just reusing the suit actors and the suits from the Big Bad Beetleborgs into this episode. But to me as a kid, that doesn't register because all I see is the Big Bad Beetleborgs getting the effing hands. Like Tommy literally bitch slapped the red Beetleborg across the room. No. I had more trust issues than Drake and then T Swift and every other rapper who has rapped around these hoes in
These are loyal. Oh, these are loyal. Yeah.
Lawyer, let me tell you something. I had more trust issues after that. After that, I wanted to be a supervillain. After that, I gave up the Power Rangers. Well, not really. I did watch Mystic Force, and I did watch SPD, and I did watch Ninja Storms. But after that, I didn't really have the same love or so much care for them like I did for everything else, or I did for Mighty Morphin. After that, I just felt like, you know what? Do we really need another Power Ranger series after like 500 of them? Seriously, they're making a movie, another one. Oh, it can't be that bad. Oh, y'all need to cut it. Just stop everything. Stop the present. Bring back the Beetleborgs.